So it sounds as if we're in good hands. His talk is about turning customer feedback into action, and actionability is definitely something we all continue to struggle with, or should I call it usability, I heard. So Rudy, over to you. Let's hear some action.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for being here. It's always a pleasure to speak at the IIeX. It's been quite a while. I think we should also recognize the great job Lenny and the folks at Green Book have done. Once again, they've just pulled off a tremendous conference, great attendance. For me personally, I love the diversity of the people who come. It's not just the same faces you see at a lot of the other research conferences. So I think just a pat on the back to Lenny and the crew is always welcome, and I know they appreciate it. They put a lot of hard work into this. Our slogan is Be Visual, and we're going to talk about this more and more over the coming year. We think we have something unique. I just want to give you a quick grounding in Greenfield. This is a very quick top-line presentation. 15 minutes, we'll do some questions. Just a quick grounding in what we do, and then I'm going to talk about some new capabilities of operationalizing data, and a quick overview of Dapresy. We've been around for over 10 years. We've got 130 clients in more than 30 countries. Believe it or not, we have over 1 million report users. These are people who are actually hammering on our system. We've deployed hundreds of thousands of studies. We've got offices around the globe. We're really happy to have our partner in Brisbane here, Heath Adams. If you've never met a real Aussie, Heath is about as real Aussie as you can get. We're used for all kinds of reporting, from simple ad hoc production and streamlining that within operations and companies, to complex trackers. We have an enterprise feedback management system, which is what I'm going to focus on with the operationalizing side of data. And the other thing we do is we make KPI marketing dashboards. We can commingle both survey and non-survey data together. So this is something unique because we work directly on survey data, but then you can pull in other things. So we're easy to use, we automate processes, it's drag and drop, and it's web-based. So imagine if you could add more value to the organization, something everybody wants to do. You had tools to help improve efficiency. I've never had somebody say they don't want that. You could seamlessly commingle survey and other marketing data, and this seems to be something that if you talk to end clients, the research people are grappling with this because they want to provide context with the information they're showing. And the CMOs and senior management are expecting that. They're also expecting to deploy data across the enterprise. The days of PowerPoint versioning are just becoming very cumbersome. They're not very easy to put out, and they're usually out of date by the time they're done. Do you have this version? What version do you have? So deploying information is a key thing. And then having custom views for management, marketing, research, sales, and others. These are things that our clients are struggling with and wanting to have with information. And finally, a single source of truth. When you have different presentations, when you have different versions of things, what date do you have? What data do you have? But if you're hammering against the exact same data source, everybody can see that same data and the numbers all align. And we can help people accomplish this. Technology can increase the effective value of marketing, yet when we look at both the Green Book study and the recent study, it's I think it's 11th annual study that Meaning does in Europe. They're showing that 86% of people still present in PowerPoint. Only 15% use infographics, only 25% use some sort of dashboard. And the one I really love is we talk to PepsiCo and they say, no power, no point. So it's kind of a funny comment. And what are clients looking for? Well, their delivery expectations are rapidly changing. They want KPI-based dashboards. They want to have context, as I mentioned before. They also want it to be visual and interactive. They want to tell a story. They just don't want to have a lot of bland numbers. They want faster delivery, which everybody wants. And again, they want to easily share data with more people. And if you look at online data presentation, over time and the cost of doing things has gone down. It was very high cost and long time to deliver just a short time ago, and this has come way, way down. And in 2015, you can get these things out really fast and relatively cheap. And what has this done? This has really impacted the economics of data presentation. If you take a tracker, let's just say a $100,000 study, and you look at the components of this, and this is something that the CEO of LRW recently did at a conference. They did an analysis and found that when you go to online data presentation, you can save almost 40% because a huge amount of that cost is just the sheer physical, tedious, time-consuming making of PowerPoint decks. And anybody in this room who's done this knows what I'm talking about. So there's a lot of good reasons. If you're a vendor, you can be more competitive. You can be more efficient internally. If you're a client, you can get more with less. So what's complex data? You know, a lot of people are used to dealing with Excel sheets, lots of information. What do you have here? On the left, you have some critical KPIs. Across the top, you have what we would call filter elements. And we can turn this into something like that. And it's the same exact data. You put some filters on the top. You make it very engaging, very easy. And with those filters and a couple of pages like this, you can literally generate thousands of page views. So it makes it for a very different dynamic experience. As I mentioned, you can commingle data. You can combine different sources, provide content, highlight deviations. And this is just some examples of things. Notice everything's different. This isn't template-based. I know there's a lot of systems out there people are using, but they're, you know, it has to fit a certain mold. This, in a way, is a lot like PowerPoint. It can make it look like whatever you want it to look like. These are some more of the marketing dashboards there on the right and some of the customer experience things we have. And also, of course, we can be traditional. You have to have what I love to, I've been in the industry 30 years. You got to have your geeky charts and graphs too. I mean, you just can't get away from it. And also cross tables and things like that. So as that is a ground for, you know, kind of what we do, an interactive dashboard, no matter how you get it deployed, is a great way to present data and insights, but what's done with the insights? Clients want actions tied to results. How many times have we sat in a room, somebody presents something, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to follow up on that, and oh yeah, the thing was down here because the satisfaction levels went down, and the ad guy in the back says, yeah, because we missed the GRP by last month and last quarter, whatever. There's a lot of this, you know, hearsay going around in rooms. It's not all tied together. And really, how do you want to turn data to insights? Well, if you go across from the left there to the right, you collect the data, you analyze, you enrich it, you monitor it, and then when you go insights to actions, you want to understand it, learn it, make decisions, set goals, and then act, feedback, coach, share. Sounds great, it's very theoretical, but how do you operationalize this? We all talk about this, but how do you actually make it happen so that somebody doesn't miss it? Well, in operationalizing data, you're probably used to thinking, if you look at the top track of research where maybe you're doing a 360-degree study, a lot of banks are doing this. It seems to be every bank we talk to wants to have the 360-degree feedback. I went into the bank, I did a transaction, maybe the teller was mad at me, I get a survey, and I say that I scored this at a low point on the survey. And then a system can, like our emphasis system, could monitor, or sorry, notify that branch manager. The branch manager gives that customer a call. What happened, they can open up a job ticket, tie all this data right back into that tracker SPSS file, study, open up a ticket, problem resolution, solve it. We've heard this, many people do things like that. But what about sales data in the middle track? You can take that same capability and do that with sales data. So when you see sales data things down or particular metrics that aren't following what you want, you can have also an action going out to a salesperson, a region manager, whatever. Or in marketing, you might see certain marketing metrics down, and you can operationalize those metrics to notify people to actually give them something in a dashboard where the CMO can monitor that and realize there's something wrong. I sent this off to Susie, I sent this off to Fred, and they're going to have to follow up, and I can actually communicate with them through this. So here's an example of operationalizing data. It's a pretty simple one. It's a real one. We've done this in Europe. It's a car repair chain. And after each visit, customers receive a survey, and the results go out to shop managers. Now, each repair shop belongs to a region, and the region has a regional manager. So they're going to want to monitor this. And most importantly, the shop managers and region managers are not familiar with survey data. Our client actually said this, and I'm not making this up. These are the people who are in the back of the room during college. He said they're not the ones who are going to be your data jocks, but they're very brilliant mechanics. They know what they're doing, but they don't do what we do, just like we don't do what they do, okay? So you want to have something that's simple. So this is a manager's dashboard. A shop manager could come in and they want to track 4 things. They look at their sales, that's one, but then they want to see what are people saying about recommending them, how did the booking process go, was it efficient, how are they treated? And as you see here, you have a couple of negative things going on, recommendations and booking. So these alerts are automatically triggered. They're triggered by the survey responses that people take, and then the manager can drill in a little more, and he can actually go there and see, okay, I had 3 people who didn't like the recommendation, 3 people who would recommend us, 5 people with the booking, and below there are the actual responses they have. You can actually click on that, go in, see the actual survey record, call up somebody, what's going on, open up a job ticket, and do your thing. So how do you handle that feedback? This is opening that dashboard. You can go there, and you can get the client details. You can pre-program in recommended actions, recommended things that maybe you can offer. I'll give you a free oil change next time because you weren't happy, Mrs. Smith. You know, will that make you happy? Yes, fine. And problem resolution. Pretty straightforward stuff. Frankly, it's the same type of thing the bank does when they get complaints. You know, come on in, we'll give you whatever it is. But then the region managers can look across, obviously, at the region level. And here they can see down there that Virginia's not doing too well. So they can drill into Virginia or set up an alert to the Virginia manager and see what's going on and add an action plan. And that action plan, this is now not on the customer record level, but this is at the shop manager level where they can go in, put in a subject, talk about what kind of priority it is, what they have to do, action taken. And every one of these screens you see here are 100% customizable because they're working off the Dapresy Pro engine, and the Dapresy Pro engine is this customizable dashboarding tool. So these are not templates. I could show you 5 different clients, and they look totally different based upon their needs. So can any company implement this? We love to say yes. Previously, implementation was a huge investment. It was primarily for large corporations with lots of resources. Implementations of things like this, usually the starting price is $500,000 just to get in the door. New technology that we have allows for smaller companies to implement this feedback process. And whether you do it at the retail level or you do it in the internal marketing level, you can do it with financial data, sales data, whatever you might have. It's flexible, easy implementation. It takes weeks, not months or years. There's no software development. This is all part of an existing drag and drop system that people can just pull in the elements. You can instantly add in infographics built into the system. So maybe you have a bar chart, and we were talking about a repair shop before. You could have a wrench, put a wrench on top of that bar, and the whole thing automatically basks, and you can see in the wrench the bar chart filling up, telling you what those results might be. You can use any kind of marketing data. I think I've made that point pretty well, and it's easily deployed to a large audience, and you can control both the data and the functionality that people get within the company. So we like to say go beyond just reporting. Obviously that's our bread and butter, but more and more we're finding people are looking to operationalize this information. We like to say don't let things fall through the cracks. Don't be in that meeting when people are talking about stuff, taking notes at the back of the napkin, and nobody really following up. But and CMOs are the ones who really love this, where they can actually program this and go from I missed that to I'm on it, and that's what we do with Dapresy emphasis. So we got 6 minutes. Love to answer any questions you have.
Okay, any questions from the floor?
I am so blind from up here.
Yeah. Okay, we have one at the back there.
What fueled your approach to make this interactive and easy to see for your clients?
I didn't
hear you.
Could we have the mic on, please?
Yeah,
Just
so
talk
speak
louder,
to-
please.
Yeah, just saying, what fueled your approach to make your insights easy to read, easy to implement?
What fueled our approach to do this? Okay, if I understand your question, the company originally was a custom dashboard company. So previously, when I had that chart about the time and the cost, you'd make custom dashboards. In a previous life, I sold custom dashboards. They're expensive. I like to tease people and say it's like owning a boat. You're just always throwing money out the transom every time you go out for a ride. They're never finished, they're never done, and they're highly rigid. They're screwed down and do one thing and one thing only. So the company made a strategic decision about 6, 7 years ago. They went to all their custom dashboard customers and said, we're going to platform you on one common platform. And everybody agreed, and that was really a huge fork in the road for the company. So Dapresy is now one common communal platform where everything that everybody wants is all in one pot, and everybody gets that. So that was the impetus to go to this. We're a research company, we're researchers. The company prior to making dashboards was one of the largest field houses in the Nordics. Dapresy's a Swedish-based company, and if you know anything about Sweden and the Nordics, these guys are very clever programmers. So they've done quite a good job putting this together, and it's that research foundation being able to handle the very difficult SPSS files at the raw native level, and having built a system that can do that, now we can add in other data, which is frankly very easy. Adding in aggregated non-survey data is simple to represent and put out. So I think that answers your question, I hope. Yep, thank you.
Any other questions? Yep, we have another one.
You said there's a lot of drag and drop, and that your clients can build those dashboards themselves almost. Some of the examples that you showed are quite sophisticated, I would say. So would you say what's the percentage of your clients who do it themselves or who build those dashboards via you?
Probably 95% do it themselves. It truly is drag and drop. You can, we have an infographics library that has over 2,000 images. Now, basic infographics, okay? They're not going to be customized images for you. There was, I don't know if you remember, there was a dashboard I showed with an airplane. That's for Emirates Airlines. They wanted their website and their airplane on there. But even that, you know, was a relatively small cost for them to use our design team to do that. Our model is for you to do it yourself. So we have these infographics. Let's say you put a bar. You wanted to put pick on a coffee cup. You drop a coffee cup on top of it. It masks out everything in that except for the bar behind the coffee cup, and it'll actually let you fill it up. For 80% of the clients, that's more than enough. It's way beyond what they're currently doing. You can import any kind of images you get off the net, no different than you would in a PowerPoint presentation. What is really one of the things that makes these things come alive is what we call a skin. Think about a web page. The background of a web page is really what we call the skin. Like we did something for Lipton recently, and if you go on the Lipton website, it has Kermit the Frog and all the Muppets. Well, we made a skin with the Muppets, yet all the data sits inside of that, and it's wow. I mean, it really is like a wow. Yet everything's animated inside there. So you get trained, and it's, you know, once you get used to how to do it, it's pretty easy.
Okay, I think we should move on to our next speaker. Thank you again, Rudy.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.